This is Coaching 101, a space for growth, accountability, and transformation, where insight meets action and people learn to move forward with purpose. There's a jockey with purpose. We need to forward, not backward. People with
Right.
purpose. How are you, partner?
Doing good. Thanks. How are you?
Well, fabulous, fabulous, and excellent. And today we have a great topic on Coaching 101 because goal setting that actually works in coaching. Goal
Right.
setting. So first,
Absolutely.
Miss Jackie, I'm gonna ask you, what is your goal in general?
In general, yeah, that's good. I'd say probably to be able to make a difference in others' lives. Some of them are a little bit vague. They're more abstract. Keep the podcast going and just keep reaching people and use my skills and my talents in the best way possible. So, yeah, I would say those are. But I think one of the things that I think is good is we want to move beyond those vague goals that maybe aren't smart goals, but move to goals that create momentum in people. Because, doing great on my podcast is a great goal, but is it really measurable? Is it going to give me that momentum to keep going, or am I going to want to give up next year? Right. So, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
hopefully not. But
Hopefully
yeah.
not, Miss
Mhm.
Jackie, because we have 4 podcasts, or soon to be 5.
Yes, exactly. I got to keep going. Yep.
Yes, keep going. Don't lose hope. For
Right.
sure, I will encourage you to do it and again and again and again. So
Hmm.
we will maintain our legacy. Maintain or
Yes.
building our legacy to the world. People, we do have 5 podcasts with Miss Jackie. We do have this one, Coaching 101, soon to be published this coming month.
Woo.
And
Yay.
we but you can watch us live through our social media, and of course mysteries stories 101, we did started
Yes.
yesterday. Oh, please watch it, people. It's live on LinkedIn, or it's already replay on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and what else, X. I don't know if we are live on X last time, but well, check it out, people. Mystery Stories 101. And of course, we have one more, Bible Verses 101 is already available where your podcast, and of course, Love Letters, and one more, which is
Oh, we're doing
two
AI
more.
101 and Tech 101. Yes.
Yes. It's not yet published, people, but as I said, the same with Coaching 101. We are live every Friday and Saturday. So please tune in and watch us. And if you have a comments, negative comments or good comments, please do so. We are accepting all those comments because those comments make us better, bigger,
Yes.
but better and bolder.
We always look to
Mm,
improve, right? Yeah,
yes.
exactly. No one's perfect at everything, so we gotta take those and yeah, look at it as
Yes.
constructive feedback to improve. Yep.
Definitely. That's why I always ask a co-host, because I'm creating lots of topic in Universal Podcast, and not all of those topics I'm good at. I admit. Food 101, even if you will say any topic under the sun, I can do it a la minute. Food, for sure, food. That's the one I'm talking about. And books. Books is something that I love. So I can talk anything under the sun. Even you will not give me a chance to, well, uh review what we're gonna talk about. But the
Hmm.
rest, well, I need a co-host so that it will be more interesting, because I
Oh,
told you, not all the topics that I'm creating I am good at. So, Miss Jackie, what's coaching start with? What do you want? Oh,
mm,
you
yes.
advocate for starting somewhere else. What do you want?
Right. So when I was doing a little bit more digging into this, it came up with three types of goals that you can work with clients on. So you can do an outcome goal, which is the result of, like, say for example, a client wants to get promoted in their job. That would be an outcome goal. Or there's a process goal, that's a behavior. So that's something they apply weekly, or they network weekly. So that would be something that, they're having to go through that process. And then identity aligned goal is who they're becoming. So I'm a leader who will become this or will do this, right? So you get them to really hone in on that. And I think those are some really nice areas I think that a coach could help a client to move towards. Once they ask the right questions, right, and they get towards what are their goals, then they can kind of bucket into that and then help them work towards those goals. So, yeah, what do you think of those? Outcome, process, and identity align.
There are a good question, especially if you are a beginner.
Mm-hmm.
You are a newbie, you need to ask those questions because it will lead you to a better result. As they said, a good questions give you a better outcome.
Right.
Mm. Garbage
Absolutely.
in, garbage out, as we are talking about on AI 101. Please do, people, listen to our latest episode through our social media. We talk about, well, as we're talking about, what you sow is what you reap, and we say garbage in, garbage out for AI 101. As just like in coaching, what are you talking about to your clients? If it's good or are good, for sure it will lead you to a good result. If you guide your clients in a good way and giving you the best of the best coaching, at the end you will reap.
Mm,
And that's the
absolutely.
question: what do you want?
Right.
Mm.
Yes.
So, Miss Jackie, if additional goal is fixed point on map, how do you refrain it as a vehicle for transformation?
Ooh, that's good. I think what you need to do is you kind of need to look at what's the motivation behind it.
Mm.
Um, yeah, and what kind of commitment the client's ready to make towards that. And it doesn't have to be big commitments, right? It can break them down into what I like to call micro commitments, or something like that, where it's something where it's manageable. So maybe over the course of however many weeks, you have all these little tiny commitments that they can do, and then it helps them get towards that goal at the end. So that way they feel like it's manageable and it's something they can do. So I would say just kind of, yeah, dig a little bit and see what's motivating that goal for them. Is it someone
Mm.
else that's doing that for them and telling them they need to do it, or is it coming from them and what they want, right? Because it
Yeah.
makes it different when someone else tells you, "Hey, this needs to be your goal for the year." But if they're not motivated by it, or they don't have clarity behind that goal, that's why a lot of goals end up failing, because they're just not clear. There's this format, I don't know if you're familiar with it, Daniel. It's called this, and it's used in business, it's used in education, even in my position too. It's called SMART goals, and it's an acronym. So the SMART is specific, measurable, actionable, relate oh gosh, relatable and time bound. I think I got it right. So
Mhm.
it's, yeah, so it's good because when you create goals that are in that format, and I think coaches are trained to do this, to have that format and let their clients know this is the format that they should use. Because then it, again, like what I said at the beginning, you asked me my goals and I was like, well, I have this goal and that goal, but I didn't do it in a SMART goal format because it was on the spot, right? I was just thinking,
Mhm.
but I didn't have time to go through all the parts of the SMART goal format. But I think if a coach really wants to be able to make those goals successful and make sure that they don't fall off and the client quits in the middle of it, then yeah, I would say use that SMART goal format. That's really helpful for clients as well.
A smart goal indeed,
Yes.
people. So, Miss Jackie, let's say you've set a goals that don't require an identity shift or just tasks.
Mm.
So we're talking about identity shift mandate. You've set a goal don't require an identity or identity shift are just tasks. How does a coach help a client identity who they need to become to reach a goal and start acting if they are not the person even before they have the evidence?
That's really good. I think it
Mm,
comes back
yes.
to asking those key questions and those open ended questions and really getting to the heart of it, because it sounds like what you're mentioning is you have a client with however many goals it is, but they have no focus on why they have those goals. So yeah, it's kind of like, where are they pulling these from? And so I think asking those key questions and getting to the heart of it and understanding what's the motivation behind it, what's um, how do they plan to reach, what do they think is going to be the plan to reach those goals, and of course the coach helps them to come up with a plan. But I think it's important for clients because they should have an idea of, okay, here's this goal I have, is it reachable, right? Is it realistic? As part of the SMART goal format, right? Is it realistic, or is it attainable? And so I think that's important to, kind of go through that framework with them and then figure out if it truly is something where you can build that SMART goal, and then it will be successful. But if it's something where it's too big, maybe break it down into smaller goals and do that instead. And know what the limits of your client are. If they have 10 goals, they may not be able to do that in the time frame that they're thinking, and it may be too ambitious. So be realistic with them and say, okay, you have 10 goals, this is great, but let's see what are the ones that you feel like you can realistically accomplish. And then the other ones, it's not that they're not important, but let's maybe put them in a parking lot for later, and let's address those at a later time once you can focus on these one or two goals, however you think your client can do that. So each client's going to be different, so it just all depends how you go about approaching that. So yeah.
Realistic, people, be realistic. So let's talk about the presenting goal versus the core goal, Miss Jackie. A client
Mm.
comes in wanting to make more money or lose 20 pounds. What is your line of questioning drill down past this presenting goal to uncover the deeper core goal?
Oh, that's great. I would say,
Let's see, I'm the client, so you're gonna ask me.
right. Yeah. So I would say, so one of the questions I would ask is, what's your time frame for what you want to accomplish this goal in? That would be my
Mm,
first question, right? And then you
mhm,
can establish that time frame, see what's that is for them. What do you expect uh in that time? I mean, do you expect to are you going to be going to the gym, or are you going to be you know do you already have a healthy lifestyle? Is it just making some adjustments? What's the level of that goal how many adjustments do you need to make? And then that helps them kind of think about it and go, oh, okay, yeah, this is what I need to do, and is this realistic? So and also addressing any obstacles. So I would say, are there any obstacles that would get in your way of reaching this
mhm.
goal? So if you want to go to the gym, say 5 days a week, is that gonna are there gonna be any obstacles that are gonna get in your way? And if so, if you identify those obstacles, how will you overcome them? So it's not just about identifying the obstacles, but how to overcome them. So asking them that too, I think, is important as well. So yeah, that's where I would start, and then do that SMART goal format from there. Yeah.
Certainly, very well said, Miss Jackie. And how about a brilliant in a toxic environment? Let's say we are assessing the environment is fit. A brilliant goal in a toxic environment will die. How do you audit a client physical, digital, or relational environment to see it's structured to support a new goal of systematically sabotage it?
That's so important, Daniel. Yeah. I think one of the things you can look at is, don't just, I would say as a coach, not to just focus on that goal at hand, or what their motivations are, but look at the whole life picture. I mean, you don't need to dig deep and know every aspect of a client's life or anything like that, because again, coaching, as we know, is different from counseling. So you're not treating something or treating someone, or anything like that. You're coaching them. But I think it's so important to know where things come. What's the season of life that the client is in. That's going to be important, because if they're setting goals, or they want to set goals that don't match the season of their life, that's something that can misalign, and it can cause frustration, not only for the client but then the coach as well, because then, I mean, is the coach going to feel like, okay, I'm feeling my client. What am I doing wrong, right? And so then they can start to feel like they're spinning their wheels and they're not getting anywhere. And so I think that's one thing. Also, one thing I think that can happen too is they overplan, but they don't follow through on that. So they overpromise. It's almost like that saying goes, overpromise, under deliver, right? So the same thing can happen with setting goals and coaching, over planning and underdoing. So I think that can be a big mistake that can be made. So yeah, just make sure that those activities that you're asking your client to do, that they're going to be able to do them, and you're not putting 10 tasks on them a week that you know they can't accomplish, right? And they can't move towards that goal and accomplish it. So yeah, I would say those are a few things we can learn as coaches as time goes on.
Certainly. So, Miss Jackie, let's talk about the self sabotage early warning system.
Mm.
What are the subtle early signs that the client is intellectually committed, a subconsciously preparing to sabotage the goal?
Mm. I would say maybe they don't show up to sessions on time, or they miss sessions, right? Or
Yeah.
that can happen. I would say also too, because I hear this happening with coaches that I know, or counselors that I know, or they get to the session, and the coach asks them questions to get to the heart of what they need, as far as with the coaching and what their goals are, and you get one word answers or very vague answers, and you go to ask them more and they just don't want to open up. And maybe you've been coaching them a couple of times, and so you know it's not that they don't know you as their coach, and you've already established that rapport with them, but maybe it's, yeah. So I would say that's another thing. You're getting really short, vague, answers as well. And then I would say too that they're not moving forward at all. So it's kind of like they're stuck in that in in that area where they're not going anywhere. They're just, yeah. So I would say try to uncover that, see what's happening and why they're getting stuck somewhere, and then hopefully you can uncover what the real root of that is, because it could be something else going on in their life that is causing that. It could be a family, type of relational situation. It could be something going on at work, because we know that our lives are intertwined so much. So if one area is affected, then it could bleed over into another area. So just kind of find out, and just ask some questions without making them feel like they are doing something wrong, or they're not doing something that they shouldn't be doing, but just kind of find out in a way that helps them still feel empowered about it. So I think that's an important aspect too. Yeah, what do you think, Daniel?
Definitely. One sign is not cooperating with you anymore. Even you have a session already and giving you the task, but he's not doing it or she's not doing it. That's the
Hmm.
red flag.
Right.
The ambition to be better in the process of your coaching is no longer there. So
Mm.
make the move, talk to the person, and finish it. If you are no longer interested to be my coach, well, say goodbye and move on.
Oh yes, that's important too. Yeah, we can't, if we're in a helping profession of any type, yeah, if we feel like we can't help a client, and we've done everything we can in our ability and our knowledge and everything and our
Mhm.
skills, then, and if the client's not willing to do what they need to do, then yes, it might be time to let them go and say, you're welcome to come back when you're ready for this and you're ready to move forward. But at this time, I just don't think you're ready to do that. And that's okay to say that. I think so many times in different professions, we don't think we can let people go, or say no to something, or just say this is not the right time. That, yeah, I think that's better than
Yes.
stringing somebody along, and especially if they're paying you for that, I almost feel like that's an ethical situation. If you're thinking, oh, okay, things will get better and all of this, you may not be thinking in the back of your mind, oh, they're paying me. But if you if you keep stringing them along for 4 or 5 more sessions and you're not getting anywhere, then something's not clicking
Wrong.
somewhere. Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. So I think that's important. That's a good point, Daniel. I like that. Yeah.
So, Miss
Yeah.
so Miss Jackie, let's talk about the completion versus success. When is a goal successfully completed, and when it's successfully abandoned because it served its purpose of moving a client forward? How do you define a win?
Mm. Yes, I think it's all comes down to did the goal actually, did you see the results of that and the outcome of it? Were you able to actually see the client move forward in that process? So I think that's part of it, for me, is just being able to do that. Now, if it was completed but abandoned, then that means that you don't actually need to move forward with it. It reached what you needed at the end, but yeah, you can abandon it at the end. Yeah.
Certainly, people. And for our final question, Miss Jackie, the ultimate sign a coaching goal work is the client internalizes the process. How do you structure goal work so that by the end, the client has their own internalized framework for setting and achieving goals long after the coaching ends?
Mm, I think that's really good. I think one thing you could do is you could give them, I don't like to call it homework, but maybe you could give them two or three things that they can do after the session, and then come back to you at the following session, and then they come with either answers to those questions or something that they do, and so that way it is truly a two-way type of relationship, and it's not just the coach doing all of that, but it's also the client, and I think that empowers your clients even more to do the
Hmm.
work. Hmm.
Do the work, people. I said effective goal setting in coaching is less about inspiration and more about architecture.
Mm.
Clear outcomes, defined constraints, and observable behaviors create a structure that converts intention into execution. Without that structure, goals remain motivational slogans rather than operational commitments. Miss Jackie, would you like to plug in something?
Well, thank you. I always appreciate that. If anybody would like to follow my educational podcast, it's called Designing with Love, and I release 2 episodes a week. And I'm happy to have you listen wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Yes, people, let's support Miss Jackie Pellegrin because if you support her, for sure, more and more empowering episodes of the podcast is live will be well published. Designing with Love, wherever you
Mhm.
listen your podcast, and of course, our 5 podcasts together: Coaching 101, AI 101, Tech 101, Bible Verses 101, and of course, Coaching 101. For the 3 podcasts, it's not yet published, but sooner or later we will publish, and you can listen wherever you listen your podcast. But for the Bible Verses 101, you can listen wherever you listen your podcast. So please do listen and support us. So, Miss Jackie, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for listening and keep learning.
Marty people, see you soon.